What's up, everybody?
Welcome back to our channel, guys.
So today, as you can see, it's a little darker.
We were deciding what to film today, and we decided to get a little bit more into the Halloween spirit. And what we're going to do today is we are going to share some of our paranormal experiences with you guys. You may or may not believe in ghosts or spirits or any of that kind of stuff, but we do. So.
Yeah, if you don't believe in ghosts, something's probably wrong with you.
Don't say that.
No, I'm just saying. There's definitely things out there. We are a very Halloween family, so I don't know. This is kind of something fun for us, and we hope you guys enjoy it. So the first story that I want to tell is something that will always stick with me. Many of you know, I went to Catholic school my entire life. I'm in high school. I went to a small high school. It was on the east side of Tucson, and it used to be a rectory. Rectory is basically school for priests and nuns. It's where the priests and nuns go, and they learn all about their religion, things like that. Well, I don't know how true it is, but there were some untimely deaths at the high school. And at the time I was going there, the entire second floor was off limits. There were a few times where like you'd be walking in the courtyard and you would see one of the blinds upstairs like move, and you would look up and like you'd see something walk away, right? Nothing that you could ever confirm though. So I usually just like, you know, whatever, it's probably a gust of wind or something, I don't know. Of course, there was the couple times that myself and a bunch of my friends went up there. There was a time where we found so you walk into this room, and right when you walk in, there's a rocking chair in the middle of the room, alright? And there's a window behind the rocking chair. There's a window behind the rocking chair, and a vine is growing. It broke through the glass and is growing in the room. So I want you to picture that, alright? You've never been to the second floor. We go up there, find this room. This was during the daytime too. This was like right after school. The teachers went around. We were like being all mischievous and whatnot. So that sets the tone for the rest of the story. I had a friend of mine in high school. His dad was in a Corvette club. And basically once a year, his dad and all of his buddies would come out to the school, and they'd showcase their Corvettes, and like other cars would be out there. It'd be a huge fundraiser. For those who don't know, Catholic school is not funded by the state. It's 100% like donations. So we had to do a lot of fundraising on our own. Now the tradition is that the seniors were to stay behind and clean up. That was just the tradition, and, you know, it is what it is. So it ended around 10 o'clock at night, and the seniors are there. We're cleaning up. Now the way my school was set up, it was kind of like a U shape, just like that. And there was wings. There was wing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? In the fourth wing, there was a woman's restroom with a water fountain. I was busy moving a table. I took the table to the cafeteria, and I went back to the fourth wing to get the chairs. Before I grabbed the chairs, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get some water. So I turned my head, and it was kind of similar lighting, but I turned my head, and I was drinking water. There's a light above the water fountain, and I saw a shadow walk by. So I saw the shadow on the ground. I saw it walk by. Now, what I saw in the shadow was it looked like a nun. Let's say it looked like a nun. Hands were folded, and they had the traditional nun's headdress, right? Now, it was later on during like winter. There's not really winter in Arizona, but it was later on during winter, so I figured one of my friends just threw a hood on and walked by. Now, between the third and the fourth wing, there's probably about, I want to say like maybe 75 meters, a good distance, right? And there's no like hallways or anything. It's literally the fourth wing, and the third wing runs this way with the cafeteria down here. I'm like, all right, let's go see who this is. Well, I go ahead and I walk out, and I turn my head to the right, and I remember the shadow walked from my left to the right. So if the person was playing a trick, they should have been on the right side of the breezeway. So I put my head out there, and there's nobody there. Right, I know. And then I'm like, well, oh, maybe they ran around. I don't know. I was trying to think of stuff in my head. Turn my head to the left, and it's pitch black.
You didn't hear like footsteps or anything?
I didn't hear footsteps. Then that was the biggest thing. Thinking back, every time I think about this story, that's the biggest thing, is I didn't hear any footsteps. Now, it was concrete, and there was sand, so it's like when you would hear somebody's footsteps, right? I didn't hear any footsteps at all. I just saw the shadow, and I remember it as clear as day. I started looking behind pillars. There was nobody behind pillars. I actually ended up running to the cafeteria because I was freaking terrified. Ran to the cafeteria, and there was two of my friends sitting down towards like the back corner of the cafeteria. And I asked them, like, look, were one of you guys just out there? And they were like, no, we've been here waiting for so-and-so's dad to get back so we can load this up. And I'm like, so none of you are out there? Like, no, we've been sitting in here. Right away, they're like, what happened? What happened? I tell them, I swear I saw none. I swear I saw none. Oh, I don't know. Like, it could have been someone playing a prank. And I'm like, okay, but who? There's nobody else. Nobody else is here. Everybody else is either in the cafeteria with you guys or they're out helping the baseball field. So I ended up, just like, okay, I saw a ghost. I mean, it was just an eerie feeling. There's definitely a weird energy at the school. I don't want to say bad. It's just like it's different. You could feel it like when you're walking by yourself, or especially when I'm in the second floor. And I know I wasn't the only person that had an experience like that. That's my story that sticks out to me.
I have a couple, I think, that really stick out to me, but I think one that hits home a little bit more was because it took place at home. I think I was in high school. Yeah, I was definitely a sophomore. And the way my house was set up was we had a den that was built later than the rest of the house. So it was a little bit newer. The house was really old. My mom grew up there. My cousins grew up there. Everybody grew up in this house, okay? And we used to live with my grandmother. And my grandmother is somebody who, 8 o'clock, it's time for bed. Everybody better be in bed. Don't be up watching TV. Don't have the lights on, or else she's gonna come yell at you to go to bed. So me, being in high school, of course I wasn't ready.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock. So I stayed up in this TV room watching, remember that show Scarred?
Hell yeah, I remember
on
that show
MTV, where people would just do crazy stunts and then
break their bone or something crazy.
Yeah. So I remember specifically, I was watching this show. I know it was late. That show always came on late. And I had the door of this den cracked open to where you can see. I left the kitchen light. Yeah. That's what happened. So I had the door of this TV room cracked open and the kitchen light on. So when you open the door of this den, you could see out into our big open living room, down into the hallway. You could just see everything. So it was pitch black, other than the dim light that was on in the kitchen that you could see out of the corner of your eye while you're watching TV. So I'm sitting there watching TV, and I see the light turn off out of the corner of my eye into the kitchen. So I'm like, okay. I'm waiting for my Nana to come into the room and start yelling at me to go to bed. So I'm sitting there waiting. Nothing happens. Like, okay. Maybe she thought I was already asleep and somebody just left the kitchen light on. So I went out there, turned the light back on, went back into the TV room, sat down and watched TV. Good 10 minutes passed by, and the light turns off again. So that time I got up right away and I peeked my head out of the door. The switch was off. The switch was all the way off. So it's not like the light just burnt out or it was an old light bulb. The switch was off and there's nobody in the hallway. And I'm telling you, my Nana, she was older at the time, so there was no way she could have made it from the kitchen, down the living room, down the hallway, into her room, close the door in that amount of time. And she used to shuffle her feet when she would walk. I would be able to hear her on the tile floor. I kind of sat there for a second. After I didn't see her walking down the hallway, I was like, all right, it's time for bed. And I ran in the room and I turned the TV off and I ran down the hallway and I locked myself in my bedroom and I did not come out until daylight.
That house is... Yeah. Something's in that house.
Okay, that house is a very old house. It's a very old house, okay?
Like, old. Didn't, like, someone in your family purchase it for, like, $8,000?
My Nana, my tata purchased that house.
The mortgage was $8,000. A mortgage for a house. Yeah. That should tell you how old this house is.
There's just a lot of vibes in that house, yes. A lot of history. My grandfather passed away, not in the house, but passed away there. My Nana passed away. My cousins passed away. And that was everybody's home. That was the house everybody would go to celebrate any type, just for the weekends if there was a barbecue. That was the house everybody was always at. So there's a lot of memories in that house. I feel like whenever people or somebody in my family were to pass away, that's where they would go, because that was home. So the vibes I always got from that house was never something bad. It's just something's there. Something's there. Something is definitely there. And I know that for a fact because I know babies can see things.
And the way that the setup of the house is, if you were to walk out of the bedroom and you're walking towards the bathroom, right before you get to the bathroom, there's a big opening and it leads into the living room and the kitchen. So it's like in those movies where you're like walking, you're at night, and out of the corner of your eye, like there's a big open area and you're like, don't look because you're gonna see something, so don't look. Every single time I went to the restroom, I would tell myself, do not look over there, do not look over there, and I always would. I don't know what it is or what it was, but I always had to look over there. And
I think you had to look over there just to kind of make sure there was nothing there.
Like staring at you? Yeah.
I have like goosebumps right now. I don't know. I don't even want to say I'm afraid of that house. It's
just something's there.
Something's there.
I remember one night, it was during winter, the heater was going on and off, whatever, and I was brushing my teeth. It sounded like somebody came up right behind me and whispered something in my ear. So sometimes when Aaliyah was really small and she fell asleep, we would try and make, like no noise at all. Because like she would wake up for anything. Sometimes I'd come up to the door and I would like whisper like, hey, are you done? Like, can I come in? And she would do the same thing to me. So I'm like, oh, Aaliyah's asleep, so Adri needs to come in. So I open the door and I'm looking and there's nobody. I poke my head out and I'm like, oh, okay, I know I heard somebody whisper something.
He thought I was playing a prank on him, and he actually got really upset with me because he had asked me if I was by the bathroom door asking him to come out of the bathroom, and I wasn't.
I was freaked out, and it was late. I had work the next day. It was a long day. I just want to go to bed, and I thought Adri was trying to pull a prank on me, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, man, I just want to go to sleep right now. I don't want to play pranks or anything. I told her, like, did you whisper? And she's like, no, I've been laying down with Aaliyah. And I'm like, you didn't whisper by the bathroom? She's like, no. She's like, oh, it was probably the heater.
I think I was trying to convince myself.
A heater. What heater whispers? She told me a heater. Out of all things in the world, she told me a heater whispered in my freaking ear. No.
I think I was just trying to convince myself that he didn't hear something, so I wouldn't be afraid. I think I was still on maternity leave at the time. Yeah. So he would get up and he would go to work, and I would be at home by myself with the baby. And in my head, I was just trying to justify.
No, I know what
make an excuse that it wasn't a ghost, but I'm definitely, I know it was.
And it happened twice. The first time the whisper was loud. You could definitely hear it, and I whipped around, opened the door, nothing there. The second time wasn't as bad, but instead of turning around and opening the door, I heard it, and I'm like, no. I'm not even turning around. You know, like when you hear something and then like you make a movement or something to see if you could recreate it, or like I did that for a couple times, like, oh, maybe my foot, you know, my arm, or like I was brushing my teeth again. I'm like, I don't know what it is about brushing my teeth, but I don't know. And I'm brushing my teeth and I'm like, I know I heard it again. And I opened the door, I went to the room, and Adri was asleep. And I'm like, okay, I'm convinced.
I believe it. There would be a lot of times where I would be home with Aaliyah. I would give her her breakfast or whatever, her little snack, and she would be at her high chair facing out of the kitchen, like in my first story, to where you could see into the living room, into the hallway, kind of thing. And I would always catch her, you know, like peeking over there, like she would see something. She would wave at something, but she was never afraid of it. So I would take that as that was my grandmother. Since that was her house, I took it as it was somebody familiar. I don't know, I'm just trying to make myself feel better.
Well, I'm convinced though, like I don't have a problem saying there's ghosts. There's restless spirits out there. Some are good, some are bad. There's just too many stories and videos and pictures and audio, like all these things that prove, I mean, you can only fake something for so long. You know, I get it. I'm skeptical as well. I'll try and factor out things that could cause a noise, or like, you know, the blinds that move or something, before I ever think like, oh, it's a ghost. But when something happens and I'm like, I have no idea. There's nothing more to point to, like where you're just like, you know what? Like maybe it was like a type of spirit or something.
Yeah. We'll end this on a little bit of a lighter note story. Same house we used to live in. I think it was right when I went back to work, because we would both leave the house. And at that time, Aaliyah was 2 months, maybe. Yeah, she was 2 months old.
Yeah.
So we were still not getting, well, we still don't get sleep. But at that point, we really...
sleep is like 96.
We still weren't getting much sleep.
Oh, man.
So both of us would go to work in the morning. We'd come home, usually around the same time, most days. And here's the thing. We were so tired. Yeah, you know exactly where
I know where this is going.
You know what story I'm going to tell. So... at the time we would,
gave me the chills.
Yeah, at the time we were so busy, we didn't really have time. We didn't care to make the bed. Okay, we were gonna come home and crash anyway. But every day it wouldn't be every day. It wouldn't be every day. I shouldn't say every day.
It was pretty often.
It was pretty often. We would come home and our bed would be made, our blankets folded, nice, crisp, clean, no wrinkles on the blankets, nothing.
And it was even. You know, sometimes you make your bed, you're like, damn, I made the hell out of this bed. And it's still kind of like the sheets are still kind of uneven or whatever. This was crisp, like better than hotel. For a while, it kept happening, and none of us said anything.
I think we were both so tired that we I don't know. I don't even know.
I didn't really think about it. I was just like, oh, the bed's made, whatever.
Yeah. But then it started like, I know I didn't make the bed. And I know he sure as hell didn't.
Well, the way it started was she asked me, like, did you make the bed this morning? And I'm like, hell no. I was gone by 5:30, and I wasn't back until like 6:30 that night. It just kind of went on.
It just got to the point where we kind of started arguing about it because I wasn't making it, he wasn't making it, but both of us, I don't know, we thought we were like lying to each other. I don't know. But it just, I don't know. We started getting mad at each other because we couldn't figure out who was making the damn bed.
Silly as it sounds. So finally, we realized, like, none of us are making the bed.
Neither of us were making the bed.
And the more we acknowledged it, the more it would happen.
Once we started, like, ignoring that this bed was constantly being made, it kind of stopped happening. Yeah.
It was weird. I know it's not like your typical ghost story, but it's still kind of weird that something like that was happening.
That's the kind of stuff that would happen in that old house. You can believe it, you cannot. But those are our stories. And we'd love to hear your guys' stories. So if you want to leave us your ghost stories or anything that you've experienced, go ahead and leave us your story in the comments. I'm probably not going to read them at night, but
I will.
I'm a big chicken. I hate scary stuff. Don't ask me to go to a haunted house because I'm going to say no.
I'm done.
I don't like being scared. But yeah.
Share your stories with us. I love reading about that stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely share your stories with us if you have anything similar. I don't know if I want to read anything like demon stories. So
yeah, that
I don't like that.
That's like my limit.
Yeah.
That's like my limit. I just want to hear about ghosts. Alright guys, well, I hope you enjoyed some of our spooky stories.
Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we post a new video.
Every week there's going to be a new video up. Really hope you guys enjoy what we're throwing out there. We enjoy what we're doing. That's really the main thing. Like, as long as you love what you're doing, then don't listen to anybody else. There's going to be people out there that don't want you to do what you're doing. They don't want to support you while you're trying to start, whether it's a channel, a podcast, a business. There's people that are not going to support you. But once you start breaking that seal, they'll start trickling in. Just remember where the hell they were. And all we're saying is just don't give up.
So yeah, don't forget to leave us your stories, and we'll see you guys in our next video.